Good day everyone! I am Marian Abian Sao, taking Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English. So this video contains my virtual report and presentation about the critical literary views and theories. So I have prepared some PowerPoint presentation for this report. So please listen carefully and hopefully you will learn something from it. So just a brief introduction about my topic. It is a method of interpreting a piece of art is literary theory. Literary theories are frequently used by readers and academics to support their views and opinions when they evaluate works through literary criticism. But before we start, let's have an overview of the following words before I embark on our core topic, which is about the critical literary views and theories. And these words are characterization, settings, conflict, point of view or POV, plot, and theme. So let's break it down and let me tell you something about it. Characterization is the act of creating and describing characters in literature. Characterization includes both descriptions of characters' physical attributes as well as the character's personality. The way that characters act, think, speak also adds to their characterization. A character can be a protagonist or an antagonist. Second one is the settings. The time and location in which a story takes place is called the setting. Third one is the theme. The theme is defined as the main idea or underlying meaning of a literary work, which may be stated directly or indirectly. The fourth one is conflict. Arguably, the most important literary element is conflict, which is the struggle between two forces. Without conflict, every story would be very boring. There are two types of conflict, the external and the internal. External conflict is between two characters or between a character and a natural force. The example of Harry Potter and Voldemort is an external conflict between two characters. We have the internal conflict occurs within one character. An example of an internal struggle is Harry trying to decide if he should sacrifice his life to end Voldemort's or Katniss choosing which man she loves. So it is about the internal feelings of a person or a character. And we have the fifth one, the point of view or POV. Point of view is the perspective from which a story is narrated. Every story has a perspective, though there can be more than one type of point of view in a work of literature. So we have first person point of view. With a first-person point of view, the character is telling the story. You will see the words I, me, or we in the first-person point of view. This point of view is commonly used for narratives and autobiographies. First-person POV or point of view can be singular or plural. The singular form uses I or me and the plural form uses the word we. Both are used to give the writer's perspective. So some examples of the first person narrative include I always look forward to my summer vacation at the beach. And we also have second person point of view. When writing in the second person point of view, the writer has the narrator speaking to the reader. The words you, your, and yours are used in this point of view. Some common uses for the second person point of view are directions, business writing, technical writing, song lyrics, speeches, and advertising. So, some examples of second person point of view are In just a few simple steps, you can make a big change in your life. To make a great chili, you must season it early enough. Then, management is very happy with the progress you are all making. And lastly, we have the third person point of view. The third person point of view has an external narrator telling the story. The words he, she, it, or they are used in this point of view. This point of view can either be omniscient, whether the reader knows what all the characters are doing in the story, or it can be limited to having the reader only know what is happening to one specific character. The third person, either specific or neutral, singular or plural. The third person point of view is often used in academic writing and fictional writing. Some examples of third person point of view is: he is a great football player. Plot. The plot is the series of events in a story. Here are the 5 parts of the plot in order in which they occur. The exposition introduces the characters, the setting, and conflict kakaron. So we have the exposition, introduces the characters, setting, and conflict. We have also the rising action, builds up suspense. We have the climax, the turning point in the story. The falling action, the suspense lessens, and the story is approaching the end. And lastly, we have the resolution. The conflict is resolved and loose ends are tied. And now we have reached the core part of my discussion. After learning all of those parts, let's have the core part of my report, which is all about the critical literary views and theories. We have the biographical criticism. Views literature as the reflection of an author's life and times, or of the character's life and times. It is necessary to know about the author and the political, economic, and sociological context of his times to truly understand his works. A type of literary criticism known as biographical criticism examines a writer's biography to demonstrate how their life and works of writing are related. New historicist criticism views literature as part of history and as an expression of forces on history. New historicism compares literary analysis to a dynamic circle. The work tells us something about the surrounding, ideology, slavery, rights of women, and etc. The study of the ideology tells us something about the work. The 1980s saw the rise of the literary criticism trend known as New Historicism. Its basic argument is that literary themes and meanings cannot be inferred only from the text and are not universal. Instead, they are the result of the author's historical and cultural context. We have the formalism or new criticism. It involves a close reading of the text. All information is essential to the interpretation of a work, must be found within the work itself. It focuses on analyzing irony, paradox, imagery, and metaphor. Also interested in the work's setting, characters, symbols, and point of view. No need to bring in outside information about the history, politics, or society of the time, or about the author's life. In the latter decades of the 20th century, new criticism, a formalist literary theory movement dominated American literary criticism in order to understand how a piece of literature functions as a self-contained, self-referential aesthetic object. It stress close reading, especially poetry. Psychoanalytical or psychoanalytic criticism is based on the theories of Freud. This criticism centers on the psychology of the characters and analyzes character motivation, behavior, and actions. If you can figure out protagonist psychology, then you can use that to interpret the text. The theory is also used to analyze the author's state of mind. The techniques of reading used to interpret text by Freud and following theories are used by psychoanalytic critic. It contends that a literary work is a manifestation of the author's own neuroses, and that literary writings like dreams express the author's hidden unconscious wants and worries. We have the archetypal or mythological criticism, assumes that there is a collection of symbols, images, characters, and motives that evokes the same response in all people. It identifies these patterns and discusses how they function in the works. It asserts that these archetypes are the source of much of literature's power. The analytical theory known as archetypal literary criticism analyzes texts by emphasizing repeating myths and archetypes, from the Greek word arche for beginning and typos for imprint. In the narrative, symbols, imagery, and character types. Feminist or gender criticism views how literature and other cultural productions reinforce or undermine the economic, politic, social, and psychological oppression of women. The role of women in literary work. Representations of women's power structure between men and women. The female or feminine experience. The focus of feminist criticism, also known as gender studies, is on how women or gender are portrayed in literary works. Feminist criticism holds that patriarchy, with its structure that emphasizes men, sets societal norms for both women and men. And I think that is all about the critical literary views and theories. Now, before I end, let's have the conclusion part. So, through in-depth readings and contextual comprehension, literary theory aids readers and critics in understanding literature. A wide understanding of world literature is made possible by literary theory. Reading a work via the prism of literary theory offers a fresh viewpoint to more fully appreciate literature, comprehend the motivation of various authors, and generally raise the literary quality for both authors and readers. Literature can also be influenced by literary theory, which can push works to take on new directions. And I think that is all, everyone. I am really hoping that I have input some knowledge into you, and hoping you have watched this full video of mine. So that's it. Once again, this is Marian Abian Sal from G1 AM Apostle Peter. Goodbye and thank you, everyone. God bless you all.